Hello everybody, I am Jarrett Ross, a Genie Vlogger, and welcome back to another Professional Genealogist Reacts. On today's video, I will be reacting to my DNA test results, shocking MyHeritage versus Ancestry results vlog by Cult America. Now, I am not familiar with Cult America. After so many videos where, I don't really look into the person or the channel that I'm, watching, and people kind of flip out like, how could you not spend some time looking into them? So now I try to Google what I can when I can, although, sometimes I just don't have time to even research before a reaction. I only have time to react, spending a lot of other time solving cold cases, helping people with their own genealogy, and then working on my YouTuber Family Tree series, plus a whole lot of other volunteer stuff that I do for genealogy. So I'm busy all the time. So anyway, what I found is that I guess he's a guy from America, immigrated to Poland, now lives in Poland, speaks Polish, and I guess his videos have to deal with that. Didn't really watch any other videos of his beforehand, but I do see his photo. He looks like he has European ancestry, hard to tell. So once we get into the video, hopefully he kind of gives a background on what he does know. But it will be interesting because we're going to see two different tests. This was just posted a few months ago, so pretty recently. We know that both tests are going to be different. Anyone who's been following along in my videos probably knows that it's a pretty apparent thing. But as always, will he get into genetic matches? And being that his channel's about Poland and that's kind of his thing, I'm guessing that he may be hoping for some sort of Polish connection. But before we jump into the video, please be sure to give this a like. It really does help me out. Also, be sure to subscribe and click that bell for notifications on future videos. With all of that fun stuff said, though, let's go ahead and watch the video.
Some years back, I took a DNA test to discover my family's origins, and I felt the urge to do this because much of the story was laden in doubts and lack of concrete information, more or less legends about where we were from and who we were. I knew that I was a Polish American with one Romanian grandfather and one Irish grandfather, but beyond that, there was nothing really concrete. And I recently found out that you can download your raw DNA and upload it to other services. So I paid like €30 to check my Ancestry.com results against MyHeritage. For the most part, what I was looking to confirm is here in MyHeritage. I am certainly of Eastern European descent. That Irish grandfather also checks out. Poland.
With 33.3% on the Irish, Scottish, and Welsh, yes, he might have that Irish ancestor, but it seems like there's a possibility he may also have some sort of Irish ancestry through another line of the family.
Romania, Ukraine, so there are a lot of Slavic countries in that mix. Now, this makes a whole lot of sense in my particular case because my great-grandparents, when they came over to the United States, they were leaving the Austrian-Hungarian Empire. And this was a multicultural state where people had their own national identities. So you could be Polish, you could be Romanian, you could be Slovakian, you could be Czech, so on and so on. But you were all kind of citizens of one empire. The huge differentiation that I saw from Ancestry.com is that they've also accredited heritage to some nations and some regions of the world that I had never considered. Beyond having Eastern European, which is made up of Polish, Romanian, we also have Irish, Scottish, Welsh. Okay, we knew about that. That's no secret. My grandfather, Bill France was his name, was openly Irish. Everyone knew it. It was a known fact in the family. We have 22% Baltic, which overlaps a bit into Poland. So this could also make some sense in the terms of history. I mean, these regions were the Polish-Lithuanian empires. So it makes a lot of sense that there would be DNA origin from both of those territories because people were trading, they were mixing, they were united for a very, very long period of time.
So far, this is really good in the fact that it really exemplifies that when you have a knowledge of the history of the areas where you're getting these readings, you can have a better understanding of why you might be getting certain percentages over others. So this idea of trading, migration, blurred lines, it's a common theme for all populations all over the world, because we all have these shared ancestries, which as you go further back and further back. So the fact that he has such a good understanding of the history of the area makes it easy for him to seemingly kind of say, okay, well, I can see why they might be coming to that conclusion with this percentage. It makes sense.
But what caught me off guard, absolutely, and it's such a small percent that it might not even warrant mentioning, is 2% Italian, 0.8% Greek and South Italian, and 1% Middle Eastern. The reality of this story goes back to the fact that before the Second World War, Poland was a very, very multicultural region in Europe. And you might ask why that is the case. Now, if you take aside partition, so times when Poland was not a state on the map, it was a very, very prominent area for trade. Again, you never know. There's thousands of people who make up your DNA. Their actions have not been recorded in the least bit, so we can only hypothesize here. But what I do know is that there were many also Greek and Italian traders, architects. Cities such as Przemysl, for example, have tenement houses that are recorded to have been designed by Greek traders. So there is no question to it. What I can say about the DNA makeup that I have here, the DNA makeup that I would claim makes me Polish, Greek, Middle East, Italian, this ties into the history of Poland. Those people were here, those people were involved one way or another. If you take Poland beyond what is listed here, Ukrainians, Boykovs, Lemkovs, Jews, Armenians, Turks even, it was a very, very eclectic and mixed pot. And I think it's kind of funny and ironic looking at these results where the United States really has the grand prize for being the world's first melting pot, when in reality, that's not really the complete truth. The whole world has always been a melting pot. And I am very, very proud to say that within my Polish genes, my Polish history, I exist here, much and due, as a result of that fact.
All right, that was a pretty good video. He had a great understanding of why the percentages are like that. I don't know, did I miss it? It seemed like he only showed the MyHeritage results, not the Ancestry results. So that was a little disappointing. Would have been cool to see both. But I am curious if, has he done any sort of actual family tree or tried to do any genealogical research, especially if he's in Poland and he has a Polish ancestry. He has the ability to do much more research than most other Americans who have Polish ancestry. So he can find about the story of their immigration to the Americas, but then he can find out what was their life in Poland. One thing I should say, he does make a lot of good points of why he might be getting Middle Eastern or Italian, but they're all tied to the idea of his Polish ancestry. And I think that I don't know if he did consider it, but one thing that should be considered is that it could be through the Scottish ancestry, could be through the Romanian ancestry, it could be through the Polish ancestry as well, but we just don't know. I mean, what was it, 2% Italian or 1%? I think it was 2% Italian. So, that's the equivalent of maybe like a third or fourth great grandparent. So, he knew his one grandfather was Irish, but, maybe there was some Italian guy who moved to Ireland, a couple hundred years ago, ended up marrying some woman, having a whole bunch of kids with her, and then all of their kids now have, you know, this Italian ancestry in them. And then when it gets down to him, he's only getting the 2%. So, you know, they could be coming from anywhere, but it is a very good concept of what he's doing. And I think the best thing of what he said was, you know, all we can do is hypothesize. And that's really the best thing you can do with the admixture, but then you can use the genetic matches to help take you further where there are genealogical roadblocks, most especially, you know, large genealogy brick walls, which are very common for a lot of people, especially when you're talking about areas in Eastern Europe, such as places like Poland or Romania or Ukraine or Russia or all those places. Well, thank you so much for checking out this video. I do hope that you enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. It really does help me out. If you'd like to get access to any of my content early or even get access to exclusive content, be sure to become a patron of mine on Patreon. And not only will you get all that fun exclusive access, but you'll also be helping in supporting my channel. You can also click right about here if you'd like to subscribe. It's completely free to do so. And you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram @GenieVlogger. I'm the Genie Vlogger. See you in my next video.